Hello, everybody, and welcome to day three of the 5-day challenge, the 5-day creative breakthrough challenge. And I hope you're enjoying it so far. This is the midday, although the midday is gone because I'm going to be talking about your contributions to the third day. And let's go straight over without any further ado. This is, of course, the group where it's taking place, the Infinite Creativity Now group, and you can always get all of the days where you post your stuff in this section here. And I clicked on something that I shouldn't have there. So this is the page which has the video on, and if you've watched it, you will know that I'm getting you to immediately get going on a creative habit. As you can see there, the creative invitation in the middle there is start your new daily, see if I can make it bigger. Start your new daily creative ritual today. Reject your own excuses for not starting. You want to create? Well, create. And I'm here to tell you to do it today, not tomorrow. Do the actual thing. Don't prepare. Don't go and get, all sorts of preparation can actually put off the real creation. So do whatever it takes and get going. And that is the topic of today's creativity coaching video as well, which you can find in our group. I call it creativity coaching, and I call it number 642 in case you're interested. It's in our group, and I call it daily, weekly, or never. And just to recapitulate, I've got this idea where it would be nice to decide how often you're going to create. And my two favorite time periods are daily or weekly. Daily, because you create every day. It just becomes part of your life, like brushing your teeth, and you don't have to question if today's a creating day or not. And you get a ton of stuff done. And it's not a chore because you're actually doing something you love doing. And it's amazing how quickly it builds up and you have a fantastic collection of creativity. And the other one is a week. Why weekly? Well, quite honestly, some people do have trouble finding time to do their creative hobby or passion every day. And a week is good. You might have a Sunday afternoon painting slot or a Tuesday evening, I don't know, dance class or something like that, or a Wednesday morning knitting circle. So that is a nice way to know if you're progressing regularly every single week, every Wednesday, for example. Other time periods, sure, you can. You can say twice a week, but isn't that really nice? I do it weekly and you do it weekly, or I do it daily and you do it daily. So that's that. Now I'm going to try and find, here it is. So it's the Creative Breakthrough Day 3, and I call it Expect It. Expect success and it will come. Expect to improve and you will. And the self-reflection was think of ways you put down your creative efforts. How can you think differently? And also decide on a creative activity you would love to progress in. Identify the smallest action. It can be 5 minutes if you want, it doesn't matter. But something is infinitely better than nothing. The smallest action you could start taking right now to move forward on what you would like to be creating a lot this year, if not every day. Let's jump right in. Genevieve says, I've always wanted, by the way, say hello in the comments if you're watching. Do say hello. I want to see your comments, even if it's just hello, but you can ask questions, and you can also, and if you're watching the replay, that's fantastic. Anything you like here, give a little comment. It's so nice for the people who've created to see that other people like it. So encouraging. So this is Genevieve, and it's very simple and actually very striking. I've always wanted to create things with what I collect in my garden, in the countryside or on the beach. Me too, actually, especially the beach. I've got this dream of actually doing what you've just done. I guess I more or less started on day one using sand and a shell. I've just realized it now. So today, here is what I started using a piece of wood and a leaf found in my garden some time ago. Isn't that funny? What has she created? I mean, she's literally just put this lovely weathered, maybe waved, do you call it waved? Piece of wood, driftwood maybe, and a leaf in the shape of a heart. It's incredibly simple, and yet because it's simple, it's elegant and there's a certain purity to it. And she's chosen a lovely colored background as well. Beatrice says, I love your sleek composition. Yeah, I agree. And Beatrice noticed the shadow, which I hadn't noticed, but it's true that the shadow is a really nice part of this composition. So that's great. See if we've got some... oh, someone's saying hello. Hello, and who is saying hello? Teresa's saying hello. Hi, Teresa. Teresa, you are really going wild on this one. You're really contributing to every assignment. I really appreciate that. Feel free to comment on any of these pictures so that I've got something to talk about. Genevieve is having a little chat with Beatrice here, who happens to be her sister, saying, Beatrice says, I love your sleek composition with just the shadow of the wood. Great job, sis. And Genevieve says, you may remember that one day in the forest, I told you that I wanted to do that sort of thing. And you replied, instead of saying it, do it. That sounds a bit of a sisterly slap in the face. Don't just talk about it, do it. And she says that this challenge has actually got her started. Excellent. This is Beatrice, and she says, oh, should I have made that bigger? Yes, I should, shouldn't I? There it is, in all its glory. Beatrice says, I bought a few days ago, a box of watercolors for €2. Picked up some sheets of paper. I think she stole it from her daughter's things, and now she's just playing around with colorful waves and vibes. Quite good fun. I enjoyed this quiet moment with myself. I like being able to create without buying a lot of things or spending much money. I think I am nearly sure that I will do it again. That's interesting, isn't it? Because nearly sure means you're not sure. You've got to try things out before you know if you like them or not. And something will happen. And either you'll do it again or you won't. You know, we often talk about a lot, don't we? A bit like Beatrice said to her sister, you know, don't just talk about it, do it or don't do it. And I follow this philosophy. Talking is fine. Fine talking is wonderful. And yet, you know, you could talk forever, but, you know, are you going to do it or not? So the idea of I'll do it one day or I'll do it someday. Someday isn't a day of the week. You know, there's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And someday isn't one of them. So just do it and see what happens. And things do happen. So this is nice. I like it. I'm at this stage actually playing with the colors, literally seeing, you know, I dip the brush into the water, then I dip it onto the little, it's probably got a technical name, where the paint is, the watercolor paint, because I'm starting watercolors. And I draw it across the page, and I just get pure pleasure from that. Don't need anything else. You know, I don't need to be trying to paint anything. Teresa's talking about the green background with the shadows of the found items, saying that it's really, really cool. Thomas is saying that he likes these wavy lines, colorful lines. That's one of the first things you should do with any new materials, a camera, or, you know, even a pen, or the idea of writing a poem or something. Test it out, you know, write a few lines, even write a few lines saying, I don't know what to write. I'm just writing this for fun, those words. Or camera, shoot around your house, see what happens. It's like the baptism, getting your toes wet. Doesn't matter what you do, but you've got to get your toes wet. This is Dorothy. She's saying, what can I do every day? Where the question I had was the question I had today. I can take pictures and make videos was the answer. Showing different places or pictures from nature. I have some urge to show the beauty of what lives on Earth or different shapes I see. Today I did take some videos and photos in a forest. And Dorothy is very close to nature, I know that. So it's beautiful. And I saw the video, and it was a lovely video. Just you wandering around in nature, which is great. You don't have to create for anybody else apart from yourself, and things happen. You don't know what's going to happen, but things happen. Here's Thomas, and Thomas says, "Hello, friends. I'm writing on my laptop." One word that comes to mind is a quote from Hermann Hesse's poem Steps. I hadn't seen this actually. And every beginning lives a magic in, or like Sab is saying, starting is the magic key. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's translated exactly right. There's magic in every beginning, something like that. I won't read all of this, but he's talking about a daily practice, a daily thing to do. He's not sure what to choose. Now, you don't have to do it for longer than this challenge, but why don't you try and create something for the next 3 days and see how that feels? Could be on the same theme. Ideally, you've chosen something, because if you try and do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, it's fun, but you won't see the progress, and you won't know if you really like it or not. So, for example, Teresa, you've got your drawing or your painting, and we're going to see something from you in a moment, which you did. And that's where you start to get deep satisfaction, when you're doing the same thing again and again. This is where I am with my photographs. I'm in the thousands now of days in a row. Well, 1,000 and something. And there's no question of what I'm going to do. The only question is how I'm going to do it, what today's photograph is going to look like, what today's text is going to be. Right, so here's Thomas. And he's playing around with his hearts, which he started the day before, I think. And I should get rid of this 5 creative days. So there he is, doing all sorts of, he's combining playing with drawing, hearts and coloring, and photographs, and playing with the apps on the camera. So double sort of creativity, plus he's putting them together in a grid, which is a sort of third type of creativity. Good stuff, Thomas. And thanks for commenting on the others as well. It's so nice when people do that. Beatrice is saying she loves what he's done there. I'm opening all of these in case we see some other things, and indeed we do. We see some other of his playing arounds. This is Karen, and this is funny. She says, "Oh dear, I have so many things on the go at the moment. What I must do is focus on something, even if it is until the following week, when I can focus on the next thing." Yes, I'm terrible at focus. This year I'm focusing on 3 things. I can't do one, but I really am going to focus on 3 things. Within those 3 things, there's lots of other things, but at least it's all in the same thing. I love this picture of your desk. That's pretty impressive. You've got a load of stuff there. I can see some paints I recognize, and some interest and brushes there. It's nice to see an artist's workspace. Some people, they like clutter. They feel fine with it. You know, they've got all sorts of stuff around, brushes and paints and materials to inspire them, give them ideas. Others, they want a sort of pristine, empty workspace so that nothing impedes ideas from coming to them. It's up to you, isn't it? Entirely up to you. She says, I often, I will do something creative every day. I often do anyway, but what I really want it to do is some watercolor paintings. Join the club. There's a few of us this year. I've been meaning to get to it for the past year, at least. They're planned but not started. I will schedule 2 p.m. as painting time. Karen, I'm calling you out here. I want to see what you've done. And just as soon as I finish these little January challenges. Okay, and so on. You can see the last couple of projects left me with quite a mess. A beautiful mess, Karen, a beautiful mess. Teresa, here we are, the moment you've been waiting for. And a lot of people said they like this. It's very cute. It's and I like the fact that you're taking notes, and you've got a notebook which you're writing something in every day. And as I said somewhere else, very quickly, if you do it every day, you'll be amazed at how pleasing it is to have a collection of stuff that builds up day after day. And there will come a point where it becomes natural to you, and you won't want to miss a day. Today's a long day, but a fun one. Spent most of the day golfing, which leaves me exhausted. But I made a promise to draw and paint every day this year. I didn't know that. Excellent. Well, do it. Just do it. There's no question. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Do you know when, by the way? Maybe you say later, have you set out a slot in the day, or is it just spontaneously when you feel like it? Some people, they like to have a slot. Others, they just like to either when the moment comes, it comes, or last thing at night, they say, oops, haven't done my thing yet. It's a very personal thing. Joined a daily watercolor challenge group before I joined Sab's class. This watercolor challenge seemed simple, but when I started on the leaves, I found myself getting frustrated and negative. I stopped the negativity, just decided to push through. Yeah. The hearts in the trees, the symbols were your own touches. I'm okay with how it turned out. And I'm pleased that I didn't give up and toss the page. Good. And using watercolor pencils, it's a new tool, so it's something new to get used to. The watercolor pencils you're enjoying, working at the watercolor paints, but haven't found your style yet. Yeah, you won't find your style, or your style won't necessarily find you for quite a while, but keep going. And as I mentioned in some other place, maybe one of the master classes, it may be that people at some point say to you, I see you like doing this, or I see that your style is a little bit like so-and-so. And only then will you realize that, oh, maybe I've got a style. And that can start to make you realize the directions, the things you like doing, and you can do more of them. Sometimes you need that, someone external to see that, because we can get lost in the details. And every now and then, a gimmick might come along, like my square gimmick. At some point, years ago now, I decided I was going to do squares. And little by little, that infiltrated my life. And now more and more of my things are square. My photographs are square. My paintings are square. My poems aren't exactly square, but I display them in square panels. And little by little, it becomes a part of you. You do something that pleases you, sometimes by chance. Then you see if you can apply that to something else. The same technique, or the same, I say gimmick, but it's just, I chose squares. In fact, choosing a square, it limited me. Can you imagine, as a photographer, choosing to only publish square photographs? That was a serious limitation. But within that limitation, I had to be even more creative. And it also gave an identity to my work. If you're an artist, you could only paint square pictures, for example, or you could go to the other extreme and only paint long, tall ones, or long, thin ones, or circles. You could only paint on circular pieces of paper, or triangles. That's, honestly, there is no limit to what is possible. The imagination is infinite, which is why half of my stuff is called Infinite something or other. Like this group is Infinite Creativity Now, because there literally isn't any limits, and it's so fun to see what we can come up with. There's no right, there's no wrong, there's no failure. There's only trying, success, or not trying. So for goodness sake, don't toss anything. We often learn most from things we're not actually totally happy with, and because we can ask ourselves why, and that gives us ideas. Here's Ronnie. Let's just check that there's not another one from Teresa yet. I have seen another one from Teresa. Ronnie, the magical hairdresser on fire in Australia. That's a song by Morrissey, by the way. Hairdresser on fire. Was in toddler mode, she says. Toddler paint, good fun. Absolutely, yeah. Playing around with shapes. I did art therapy class for a while, not giving it. I mean, participating in it. And they just told us they presented us with wet watercolor paper, and you painted on the wet, it was damp paper. So immediately the paint sort of splayed out, feathered, which was nice. Not the same as putting wet watercolors onto a dry piece of paper, not at all the same, because when you do the latter, you've got a sharp line where there's paint and there isn't paint. But if you paint onto wet paper, it just explodes everywhere. It seeps all over the place and gives a lovely, and it's also very good for merging colors. One of the problems I've found with watercolors is that it's terribly hard to merge them without having a line, where they meet. But if you're painting onto wet paper, that's less of a problem because it immediately diffuses and two colors merge into each other. There was an exercise that they gave us a few times actually, and it was doing gradients. The idea was you start on one side of the paper with blue, let's say, the other side with yellow. And the idea is that you have it changes gradually from yellow to blue. So therefore in the middle you have green. The problem is when the yellow hits the blue, bam, a huge line forms where the blue has hit the yellow. The blue completely dominates the yellow. And how on earth do you manage to get the yellow going gently into green and then blue? Because as soon as the blue touches the yellow, you've got a hard blue stroke. So I'll let you imagine how you can possibly do that. But even that exercise is both educational. You learn how colors merge together, which colors are strong and which aren't. And it's also incredibly relaxing. I realized at the end of 2 hours, the woman would say, right, well, time to stop. And I think, what? I haven't done anything. I've just been playing gently with my paints and my brush, doing tiny, tiny strokes, very pale paint. So it's very therapeutic. It's called art therapy for a reason. Here's Ronnie with another one. And she says, she doesn't say anything about this. But this, again, is just playing with beautiful colors. That's why I like abstracts. I think people should do a lot of abstracts, actually, because there's trying to paint a picture of a dog or a landscape or a tree or something. But more fundamental than that is just playing with colors. And there's just something beautiful about colors. I mean, when I was a kid, I went through 2 phases. The first was color phases. The first was when I asked my parents to paint my bedroom orange and blue. And then I had another phase, another favorite pair of colors, and I asked them to repaint it in green and purple. And I didn't want them to paint, pictures of green or purple things. I just wanted to be surrounded by green and purple or blue and orange, and specifically together, both of them, not just one color. I was experiencing color, not a green apple or a purple witch or something. So color is incredibly powerful. So well done, Ronnie. Thanks for that. And you see, so one day she's cutting hair creatively. Next day she's painting creatively. Great stuff. Here's Laurel. Hello, friends. Whoopee, what fun. What did I take away from today? Just do it. You can share your takeaways. I think it would be great if you did share your takeaways because everyone learns from those. What did I take away from today? Just do it. Do it, just do it. Forget procrastination. When the bug bites, scratch it. And Laurel knows what she's talking about because her garden is full of bugs. Every few days, she posts a picture of a new bug that none of us have ever seen before. It's absolutely incredible. This is a completed succulent garden for my daughter. That's beautiful. And it's even got a little, what is it? A nymph or some sort of golem creature or something tucked away there. Being creative with plants. And here's another one. What does she say? She says, this is the undercoat finished on my husband's birthday present. There's letters I can see. I'm not sure how much of it is the present and how much is the preparation. It looks like the whole thing is the present, and she started by doing it in black. Very interesting. Interesting to see what color it's going to be in the end. Maybe it's all going to be black. So that's what we've got so far. Invite your friends. I'm going to look at some of the things, a couple of things from the breakout day as well now. And invite your friends. I'm going to leave this open for 2 or 3 weeks up until when the Infinite Creativity Now masterclass starts, my big masterclass starting. Now I've decided on a very romantic day, the 14th of February. So I'm going to leave this open. People can join when they like, do the exercises when they like. So invite your friends to take part in this as well. So I'm going to pop over now to the, I think this is the break day. So the break day is very interesting because a lot of people actually, well, 3 or 4 people said, I'm really pleased there's a break day. Now, in most 5-day challenges, there's no break day. And in most masterclasses, there's no breaks either. Not really. There might be. But I incorporate breaks, significant breaks, into the masterclass. There's 2 of them. And I incorporate an equivalent break into the 5-day challenge of 1 day. So there's 3 days of thinking, video, creating, sharing and stuff. And then there's 1 day break. And then there's 2 final days. So you're more than halfway. Now we are more than halfway. Then you have a break day. And you know that it's going downhill. This is psychologically pretty powerful. You know that you've only got a couple of days left, plus you've had a rest. As I say in the training, I think, the break day or the break week, depending on the length of the program, serves 3 purposes. Let's see if I can remember them. I'm going to come out of here for a second, or let me do. The first one is to catch up. If you feel that you've got behind and you need an extra day to catch up, then you can take that day to watch the video and do the challenge or the creative invitation that you haven't done. The second is to go deeper into a subject that we've looked at before, if you want to do the same exercise in a different way. And the third thing is to literally do nothing at all with creativity. And that can be very good as well. We need a break. Sometimes if you try to be creative, you try to have good ideas, they don't come. When you stop trying, boom, suddenly the brain says, oh, thank goodness you've left me alone for a second. I'm going to give you a few good ideas. So that's the idea of the break week. Let's have a look at the break day, sorry. And something else came to my mind there, but I've forgotten what it is. If you're watching the replay, thank you. Why don't you say hello in the comments? Say what you think, say how you're feeling. What are your takeaways so far? And any of the pictures that you like. By the way, I'm not trying to be, as I said in my little creativity coaching video earlier today, I'm not trying to be pretentious or dandy or bohemian with this scarf. I'm just cold. It's freezing here in Paris. Oh my God. Well, maybe not for Canadians or North Americans. I don't know. But it's below 0, folks, 0 degrees centigrade. And for us, that's very chilly indeed. Okay, so a couple more minutes looking at the break day, because although it's a break day, if that's what I was going to say, if you took my day 3 advice to heart and started creating every day, starting on day 3, well, on the break day, you should still be creating, shouldn't you? The break day doesn't mean cut your brand new creative daily habit on day 2 of it. Absolutely not. So there you go. This is Thomas, and he's saying, okay, so why can't I read that? Oh, yes, of course. I take my green teapot and have a tea break. This gives me time to prepare my tomorrow items, because I think it will take some time to do them. Although the idea I have seems to be so easygoing at first. Okay, Thomas is a great thinker out louder or typer out louder. He gives us the richness of his thoughts. That's it's funny. He's so visual, but he's also he loves words and playing with words. And of course, he's German, so all of this is him writing in his second language. And he has a way of being creative with everything. You know, it's a break day, so he creates a creative picture anyway. This is Thomas relaxing and taking a day off, creating an incredibly beautiful photograph. And of course, not just photography, because he plays around with raw materials. He often creates the things that he photographs as well. As I said on the first day, when Thomas's first creation was literally a white pencil, like literally with a white lead on a white piece of paper. that was his first piece of creativity. He created the photograph, so he did create, but he was also giving us the message that here we have infinite possibilities because the sheet itself was blank. And the pencil was a colored pencil, was white. So there's probably some sort of deep and meaningful message in that as well. Here's Teresa again. Teresa, are you still with me? Are you one of my viewers? Now, I think, Teresa, this year is going to be great for us because you're really sharing some really interesting, powerful stuff here. It really helps when I hear other people who are also trying to create and come to terms with doing new things and maybe feeling a bit inadequate. And you say here with this, I looked at this and I thought, what a beautiful, accomplished picture of a bird. And you're not probably thinking that at all. You know, you're thinking, oh boy, today's impromptu watercolor and white gel pens. Man, did I learn a lot. I'm looking at this thinking this is accomplished. And you're thinking it's probably one of your first steps, the first time you've ever drawn a bird. Yol, art is hard. Seriously, I had fun with this and realizing I need to be willing to put in the practice time to meet my expectations. Yeah, one option is to not have any expectations. I'm not sure what purpose expectations serve. Do they serve to drive you forward, to give you the motivation to do something? Because what are you expecting? Because you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, so if you expect, it's like if I go into Paris, I'm wondering what I expect when I go into Paris to take my photographs. I always say that I have no idea what photographs and what ideas for a text is going to come to me. I go there and I wait and see what happens. My expectations, maybe that I come away with some interesting images, maybe an idea for a text, although that's rare, because normally the idea for the text, my daily text, comes from looking at the picture, although sometimes I have an idea before. In terms of expectations of the photograph, my only expectation is that I'll get something interesting from Paris. Apart from that, I don't know if it's going to be a dark photograph, a pale one, a red one, a colorless one, water, bridge, no idea. So I'm interested into knowing what your expectations might be. Maybe you're expecting a certain level of performance. Are you expecting it to be better than your last one, or as good as the one in the book, or as good as the one the person whose video you're following did? You know, I'm interested to know what your expectations are. And I know I'm probably going far too deep on this. You just wrote the word, and here I am jumping on you, but that's what I do. What do you mean by expectations? The problem with having expectations is possibly that you don't meet them and you're disappointed. So yeah, that's an interesting point. I love it. All that blah blah, and what I really wanted to say was I absolutely love this little picture of a bird. It's super. It's lovely, and I haven't got the hang of gel pens yet. I don't know when to use them. So please tell me, is it that you do the painting in the watercolors, and then you take this famous white gel pen? I had someone's one somewhere, but I'm not sure how to use it. And then you put in these little details. Is that right? Which you couldn't do with watercolor paints themselves. I think that's the idea. So that's fantastic. I love it. Oh my God, look, it always impresses me so much when I see what looks like a reflection in the eye. And you've got it. And I can see it's probably just a dash of white paint or something, but it just seems so impressive and so professional. Okay, so I've got various chats on the break. Time to take a break. That's fine by me, says Genevieve. Just what I'm doing after a work day. However, my mind doesn't seem to have taken a break, sending me more ideas for the future, like creating things with threads, but not using them for embroidery. That's what happens when you have a break. Your brain doesn't necessarily shut down, but it sort of breathes a sigh of relief and says, thanks for the space. Now I'm going to come up with some interesting ideas from what we've been doing recently, because you're not forcing it to think about a new creation. It actually does. And look, here's Karen as well saying, break day, oh good. I love not feeling the pressure to come up with something today. And I certainly did take a break today, not just from the challenge, but from everything else. So there you go. And me, for some reason, I saw this little picture. It said there's a pencil with change. Then there's plan A crossed out, plan B crossed out, and plan C. And it just gave me an idea for a comment. I said a change of plan is often the most fun thing that can happen if you let it. So it's a bit like expectations. If you expect something to happen, either it will or it won't, and you may consider the day or the task a success or not based on that. But if you don't expect anything at all, everything is good, everything is new. What are you doing differently today? So that's pretty much it for today. Tomorrow probably I will do a video on your day 4 items tomorrow or the next day. And what was day 4? Let's have a look in the group. I think I clicked somewhere, so I'm going to check and see what day 4 is. And day 4 is exploit it. So far we have had day 1 this was me trying to be creative with the titles. Enable it, in other words, kickstart your creativity. Believe that you are, realize you are. Explore it, see what you can do with it. Expect it, expect creativity. We are nothing if we're not incredibly creative beasts. The day after day 3 was break day. Today we had exploit it. This is start to get to use it for powerful things, including encouraging others to be creative as well. I won't say any more about that. That's day 4. So thanks very much for watching, either live or on the replay. I really appreciate it. I hope you're having fun with this. And please do tell your friends. This is going to run for quite a few days, I've realized, and I've decided. So get your friends to join, get them to start at day 1. No problem. The threads are open and we'll be interacting as usual. From next week, by the way, I think from next week, I'm going to start doing something I used to do, and that is weekly shows, just like this, on photography. The plan is photography, writing, and general creativity. So that'll be probably an hour-long show, from half an hour to an hour, maybe Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So Tuesdays will probably be photography, and Wednesdays will probably be creativity in general in this group. There's a lot of people who are into drawing, and I'd love to talk about drawing, but this group is for any sort of creativity, including photography, including writing. We had someone, Magdalena, contributed a poem today. So absolutely any sort of creativity in this group. And then in the writing group, specifically words, and in the photography group, specifically photographs. So I'm kind of excited about getting those going again. Hour-long shows, between half an hour and an hour, encouraging you to contribute your stuff in the relevant groups, and then me chatting about it the way I do. We can have guests coming on to talk about it. It's going to be good. So that's coming hopefully next week. And right, thanks for watching, and happy creating, happy exploiting, because day 4 is exploiting. You should be working on that now. And I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye-bye for now.